Ya kundendu tusharaha धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करा प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती शेषजाड्यापः. By praying the goddess of knowledge, Saraswati, goddess of all the kalas, Saraswati, I would like to start my presentation on the 64 kalas, the ancient heritage that we have today. Let us try to understand the meaning of kala first of all. When we say 64 kalas, as you all know, 64 is a digit. There are 64 in number. But what is a kala? So kala has got different meanings in different connotations. Okay, they include the moon, the digit of a moon, the fraction of a time, the rise of a sun, and of course the general meaning of color, what we understand today and what we call it today or remain today, is nothing but an art. The term color denotes the time measure. It is said that 1/16th fraction of the time is called as color. So when we talk about the new moon day to the Paurnami day, or from the Paurnami to the Amavasya day, every day, the 16 days, when you try to classify them under the time fraction, every day is called as 1/16th kala. The fraction is called as 1/16th of kala. That is the reason the lunar calendar, what we talk about, the tithis, Padhyami, Vidya, Tadya, Chaviti, Panchami, Sashti, Saptami, Ashtami, all these are all called as the fractions of the time measure, and we call them as kalas. And every day the moon is called as Chandra Kala. The moon, the transition is called as Chandra Kala. And also, when we talk about the time measurement, it is also understood that in Lalita Sahasrama, the goddess is also compared with the Kala, Kasta, Nimeshika. All these are also falls under the time measurement. And when we talk about the kala in the perspective of art, we also praise goddess, calling that Kalavati, Kalalapa, Kanta, Kadambari, Priya. Kalavati means she's well versed with all the 512 arts. She's well versed with all the kalas, and she is the authority on all the kalas. Of course, when we describe about one single kala from these things, later the aestheticians have enumerated them into 64 kalas. Right? Moving on to the next slide. In the Sanskrit dictionary, when you look at the term kala, we have got an etymological meaning. So the derivation of the etymological meaning depends on the sutra that has been applied, the vyutpatti artha that has been applied to term kala. Kam sukham lati iti kala. That means that which brings us joy is called as kala. Any art form gives us joy. Kala is derived from the root word kal. Kal means, again, the definition for the term kal in Sanskrit is Sankhyayane Gatau Kshepe, says the Amarakosa, which is a dictionary meant for Sanskrit literature and terminology. Kalyate Sankhyayate iti kalaha. Sankhyayana means something to be known. When you say something, it should be understood by the other person. It is called as Sankhya. And here also, we to give you a best example for the term Sankhya, when Bhagavan Sri Krishna was revealing the truth of or the righteousness of a warrior to Arjuna, that he has to fight despite the opponents are his own relatives. When Arjuna failed to fight in the war, Krishna has pronounced Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, saying that he revealed that this is the dharma, this is the righteous thing that a warrior has to do. That means Sankhya Yoga, that is called as Sankhya Yoga, which is something delivered to the other person. Okay. Sankhya means to reveal something, to know something. to communicate something, and all this is connected with an understanding. Gata means that which is dynamic. Gati means the dynamism, the movement. Chalanam, that means it is ever changing, ever evolving. It is like a perennial flow. Art is never confined to one particular era or one particular design or something. As you see, there are so many variations in the architecture or in the drawing styles or whatever art form that you see, even the culinary skills, you find them a lot of difference. Every day it is evolving, every second it is evolving. So the Gata, the very characteristic of art form is it is ever changing, and it has got an intelligent element. It has got an educative element, a communicative element. And kshepe means thrown into ecstasy. Whatever that you have told to the other person, induced knowledge, and that which is dynamic, that which has got an educative element, should also throw a person into ecstasy. That means even the receiver should perceive it in the same manner that it has been communicated. So it provides an aesthetic pleasure to the viewers, to the connoisseurs, I must say. So in the etymology itself, we have so many layers of meaning to the word kala. In the Ekakshara Kosa dictionary, Ekakshara means for each and every single syllable that we have in Sanskrit or in Telugu or any other Indian languages, it has got an Ekakshara dictionary. For each and every syllable, we have a totally different meaning. So if you talk about the Ekakshara Kosa, the letter Ka means, or it symbolizes the creator Brahma. That means we are employing a divine origin to all these colors. They are not just born like that. It has got a divine origin for that. Then how do we human beings are bestowed with the colors? The Shastra says one has to pass on the three stages, that is Pratibha, Vyutpatti and Sadhana. What is the Pratibha? Pratibha is nothing but inherently a person would get introduced to the arts. He is a born artist, be it in music or a dance or painting or whatever it is. They have got that skill by birth itself, by the virtue of the good deeds that an individual has done in his previous janmas. He is well versed with that particular kala. That we call it under the term pratibha. And then what is vyutpatti? Vyutpatti is the acquired knowledge of an individual. Maybe by doing this Sustrusha to the Guru, maybe by discussing with the friends, maybe by observing others doing something, and learning from a Guru, learning from YouTube, if you have to talk from the contemporary society. So he would acquire those skills. That is called as Vyutpatti. This Vyutpatti and the Pratibha has to be perfected through sadhana. Unless one practices, as we all know, the saying goes, practice makes man perfect. So the sadhana, that makes the individual to perfect himself in any of the kalas. To sum up the entire characteristics of kala, it is the creativity of the human beings, and the dynamism talks about the propagation of the art, and finally, the enjoyment that connoisseurs receive and relish. So to create an art and also to understand an art form, the intelligence, interest, mood, and the individual's uninterrupted focus and concentration are also required. Okay. How come my video is not there? So what are the characteristics of an art form? Art does not diminish by sharing. So some of the people do have a feeling that, if I share this, I'm going to lose my idea. I'm going to let me return it to me. People are being so selfish. That is not the characteristic of art. You have to share it. Any knowledge has to be shared. You cannot, encapsulate for yourself. That will go die, and that will die along with you, isn't it? So it allows the connoisseurs to forget himself and allows him to unite with the universal energy. After all, what is the ultimate goal or purpose of an art form? It is to realize the ultimate, not to make money or to get some awards and all. I understand, according to the Maslow's theory, we think of the, pleasing our own sociological needs or, self accomplishments and other things. But self-actualization, realizing the ultimate, realizing the actual pleasure that one can get is by only realizing the ultimate through the kalas. We have so many people, Tyagaraja, Suradasu, Nada, Tanumanisam, through singing, they have realized the Paramatma. Nidhi chala sukama, Sannidhi chala sukama. We have seen people just ignored all the wealth that was sent by the kings, and they concentrated only upon Rama. Tyagaraja, Annamacharya, there are Purandara Suradasu, Kabir Dasu. You name any devotee of the God, they believed only in God and the kala, the singing or the dancing, whatever it is. Even Chaitanya Prabhu, as a matter of fact. So, when once we know the value of kala, one has to live for the sake of art, but not, making it commercial thing. Right? Kala means an entertainment for some. Kala means a creative force. Kalaiti means he is creating in Sanskrit. Kalas reflect the culture and civilization of any country. We all know kalas reflect the culture of civilization of any country. We can give number of examples, right from Indus Valley civilization, the Mohenjo-daro civilization, and we found the beautiful dancing sculpture of a woman. And we also know the kind of architecture that was built during the Indus Valley civilization, the beautiful civil engineering structures, which stand as a testimony even today. Not only from India, I'm talking in general. You can talk about the Egyptian pyramids. You can talk about the Greece and Athens structures, massive structures, the open air theaters. Everything, it is kala. That which remains forever, that which is dynamic forever. From taking a cue from the existing architecture, so much have been improved so far, right? So the basic idea of kala is, that talks about the country and the civilization. Now, moving on to with that introductory words, let me tell you what are the 64 kalas. In Hindu Vedas, 64 kalas are described as essential art forms and techniques that should be mastered by an individual to lead a successful life. The 64 kalas can be divided into 4 main categories. Kala Jnana, that gives you knowledge about that particular art form. Kala Shastra, the skillful arts, just like carpentry or, the iconography, the sculpture and everything. Rupa Kala, Kala Rupa, visual arts. And Kala Kriya, the ritualistic arts. So all the 64 kalas share the same goal, which is to create harmony between the divine and the humanity. These art forms and techniques are not only used to create beautiful works of art, but also to bring balance, harmony, and peace to the individual. Now, before I start enumerating all the 64 kalas, I would like to make a disclaimer that the 64 kalas, what I'm going to enumerate now and give you the details, are from Vatsayana's Vatsayaniyam, or otherwise called as Vatsayana Kama Sutras. Along with the Vatsayana, there are a couple other aestheticians who have enumerated all these 64 kalas. Surprisingly, the number of kalas were mentioned as 64. But when you look at the description or the nomenclature of the kalas, hardly up to 54 to 56 kalas are common, even the nomenclature. But 10 are different here and there with the different nomenclature, and even the kalas were totally different. But for you to have an understanding, here today I'm going to present all the 64 kalas enlisted by Vatsayana in his Vatsayana Kama Sutras. There are Ramachandra, Gunachandra, Hemachandra, Rajashekara, and Rasarna Sudhakara, Singha Bhupala, King Someswara from Chalukya dynasty. All these people have enumerated the 64 kalas. As I told you earlier, 10 are different, but rest 54 are the same. Okay, let's now try to understand the 64 kalas. I'll try to finish it within 1 hour because 64 into 1, it takes 64 minutes. I'll try to wind up within one hour. Okay. The first one is Gita Vidya, the art of singing. In Samaveda, we find the origin of Indian music. The sofa system, music was found in Samaveda. You know, it started with a single swara, which is called as Ekaswara. Then we moved on to Dviswara, then to Triswara, Chatuswara, Pancha, Shak, and finally we have settled in Saptaswaras that are prescribed in the Samaveda. The songs sung in villages and the forests are Uha and Uhya. The Gita Vidya includes the composition, the tuning, rhythm, the time pattern, the rendition of singing, says Yashodhara in his commentary on Vatsayana's Kama Sutra. Of course, in 21st century, the music is classified into Marga and Desi, Janapada, Lalita Sangeetam, Cinema Sangeetam, Natya Sangeetam. Several other genres were there, but earlier it was Uha and Uhya. Then Marga and Desi was classified by Sarangadeva in his Sangeeta Ratnakara, and also in Sangeeta Damodara, one of the musicians have classified them under Marga and Desi. And this includes not only the Saptaswaras, it also includes the Padyams, that is the poems, the verses, the Sanskrit verses, slokas, Gadyam, Churnika, and there are several other styles of singing, like, the compositions, I mean to say. When you talk about the Desi literature, we have Churnika, Mangala, Dhavala, Elalu, Rekulu, Arthachandrikalu, like that. The list is never ending. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on. Just like I said, it is a dynamic art form, ever changing, ever evolving, ever creative. So each individual with their creativity had added a corpus of music to the Gita Vidya. Vadya Vidya is art of playing musical instrument. As you know, there are 4 types of musical instrument that exist now. Tatanchaiva avanathancha ghanam sushirameva cha, says Bharata in his Natya Shastra. Tatam means the tantri vadya, the string instruments. Avanatha is the percussion instrument. Mudangam, tabala, chanda, prachanda, jazz, all this comes under the percussion instrument. Tatam, the tantri, guitar, veena, violin, all these are called as string instruments. Sushira are the wind instruments, flute, shenai, mouth organ, all this falls under the category of the Sushiravadya. And finally, the Ghana. Ghana is made up of the metallic instruments like the cymbals, the bhajana, and the ganta, the gajjalu. All this comes under the Ghanavadya, right? So these are the 4 types of musical instruments that we find right from the ancient period. Until now, we couldn't add anything other than the electronic gadgets, right? And the 3rd category is Nritya Vidya. And the 4th one is Natya Vidya. So you will be wondering what is Nritya and what is Natya. Those who attended my previous session would know what is Nritya and Natya. But for those who have joined afresh in this session, Nritya is Rasabhava Vyanjanadi Yuktam Nrityam iti iryate. That means through the dance, one should able to emote the sentiments, feelings, and emotions among the spectators. One should able to express them at the same time, able to emote the same emotions among the spectators. Such art form is called as Nritya Vidya. Natya Vidya is art of theatricals. So Natya, the definition of Natya goes like this. Natyam tan natakam cheva pujyam purvakadhaitam. Natya has got an element of drama, dramaturgy, music, dance, and the Purvakatha. Purvakatha means it should consist a story which has already happened, probably from our mythology or epics or Puranas, and that should have a drama in it. Such performance is called as Natya. Right. The 5th one in the order is Alekhya Vidya, the art of painting. The concept of Tvashta and the Vishwakarma speaks about the origin of arts like painting, sculpture, architecture from the Vedic literature, and some of the epics. The painter or the creator who models the buildings, beautiful sculptures, paintings is called as Tvashta. So Tvashta is the one who creates all these blueprint sketches and everything, and later on, based on that blueprint, he would develop into a beautiful art form. Now here and there, I just added some of the slides for you to understand. Here you can see a percussion instrument, the dance, and here you can see the gajjalu or the ghana type of musical instrument, and this is a string instrument. Again, this is a string instrument. And you can see a harmony, which is also categorized under the wind instrument. So you have music and dance all together in one single slide. Yeah. Sixth one is Aiseshika Chedya Vidya. So this is also called as Visheshika Chedya Vidya in some of the texts, and some texts it is written as Aiseshika Chedya Vidya. This is nothing but the painting the face and the body with the color. And this is also called as Patra Chedyam. This is like, taking the Bhurja Patra leaves and, grind them into a beautiful paste. And with that paste, they will apply a lot of designs on the hand. This is called as a Aiseshika Chedya Vidya. So for this generation to understand, this is like the modern day tattoos, right? So of course, this started with the tilaka on the forehead also. So when we talk about the Aiseshika Chedya Vidya, it is the beautiful tilakam that we apply, the vermilion that we apply, the beautiful designs for Gopi. I think during Rasalila or the Garbha dance, we see ladies decorating themselves with the beautiful tattoos and, with the beautiful tilakams. Different shapes of designs of tilakam are drawn on different people, like flowers, shapes, trisulam, the vertical lines, the horizontal lines, depending upon the Vaishnavism and the Saivism, the circle, the drop, water drop, kind of the dew drop shape, tilakam and all. So it all depends on the kind of creativity. For the Nagaloka verses, they draw a beautiful snake. In movies, for all the kingly persons, they used to draw a crescent on their forehead. So it is a symbolic representation that he would belong to the kingly division or class of the society, right? Kshatriya. So these are some of the things. You can see a beautiful tilakam on his forehead, and paint is applied on his face. Of course, this is again from Kathakali dance form, which has got a totally different resemblance. They have red, green, yellow, and blue colors they apply on the body, each color representing each personality. Like, green is employed for a heroic personality like Rama and all. Similarly, red color is used for protagonist, antagonist actually. So showcasing the valor and, the kind of Raudra that he has got. And yellow color is applied for almost heroines, like, for female artists. And this is the tilakam that is applied for dances. Such curse. Yeah. The next one in the order is Tandula Kusuma Balivikara Vidya. So the art of preparing offerings of rice and flowers. So drawing different designs on the floor like present day Muggulu. Like the Kerala Onam festival, the decorations with the different colors of flowers, designs, creating a mandala, etc. is called as Tandula Kusuma Balivikara. So this concept of mandala has got another important feature in our Hindu rituals, wherein mandala is a prescribed area wherein this muggulu either with colors or the flowers are made, and we invoke a particular energy and we request that energy to reside in that particular mandala area till our ritual is completed. So during the Satyanarayana Vratam and all, we draw different kind of mandalas, and we invoke Ashtadikpalakas, Panchaloka Palakas, all these people, Navagrahas, and we request that particular energy to reside in that particular place till the ritual is over. So this is how the Tandula Kusuma Balivikara Vidya is employed. And according to the regional practices that we have, just like I was mentioning about the Onam festival, or even during the Sankranti festival, you can see people, ladies, they make beautiful designs. And during Diwali also, right? So Pushpastarana is the eighth one, art of making a covering of flowers for a bed. This is performed mostly in temples to make the deity sleep as a Visesha Archana. As you all know, right from waking up the Lord till the time we make him go to the bed, there are several upacharas. There are almost all 64 upacharas again offered to the god by the Devadasis or the Pujaris. But unfortunately, those 64 also, we have narrowed down them to Shodas Upacharas, that is the 16 Upacharas, and still the Pavalimpu Seva is also there, one among them. The Pavalimpu Seva has got a beautiful meaning, and this reminds me of one of the Annamacharya Kirtana, where this Unjala Seva, he would make the Lord sleep on the bed, and he would swing the Lord and sing a beautiful song saying that it's a lullaby actually. అలరచంచలమైన ఆత్మనందుండని అలవాటు చేసేనే ఉయ్యాల పలువారు ఉచ్ఛ్వాస పవనమందుండని భావము తెలిపేనే ఉయ్యాల ఉయ్యాల ఉయ్యాల. How beautifully Annamacharya has written that lullaby, I tell you. The swing of the cradle, he's comparing to the oscillation of his thoughts, to the divine and to the mundane life, to the divine and the mundane life. That mind's oscillation has been compared to the swing. So beautifully has compared. And you can see the Kusuma Bali Vikarana here. And this is one of the mandala, that what I'm talking about. And that's about the 7th and 8th kalas. The 9th one is Dasana Vasana Angaraga. Do not get confused with all these things. That has got 3 parts in this. Dasana, Vasana, Anga, Raga. Dasana is nothing but the teeth. That means whitening our teeth, polishing our teeth, making them bright and everything. Okay. So we think that, the dentists have created all these things today. This art has been in existence from 5,000 years back, imagine. Right? And Vasana is nothing but the clothing. Right from collecting the yarn and dyeing it and weaving them into a beautiful cloth. That includes the Vasana. So when I talk about the Vasana, one has to know about the different kinds of sources that we have to collect this yarn. Today we talk about nylon, polyester, whatnot. But in earlier days, what are the different kinds of yarn that they have used to weave these clothes? This includes Kauseya. Kauseya is nothing but the silk one. Kauseya is nothing but a cocoon. The yarn that is drawn from a cocoon, the silkworms cocoons, basically. So we call it as a sericulture, right? We develop those sericulture and we draw the yarn, silk from it, and we make some beautiful silk sarees. Pita is the color. And the third one is Rankava. Rankava is drawn from animals, wool drawn from the animals. Ranku Irri is the animal. So in olden days, from the Ranku Irri, basically from the Himalayan region where you have a sheep and Ranku Irri, several other animals which has got a lot of fur on their body, they used to draw the wool from them and they used to prepare clothes. Valkala is a tree bark. So that tree bark, they soak it in the water for a couple of days, and when it is softened, they beat the bark with something very hard, and they take out the yarn from it, and with that yarn, they weave the clothes. And Valkala is also called as Nara Vastram, which normally we hear in Ramayana before leaving on exile, Rama and Sita, they were supposed to wear this Nara Chira and Nara vastram. That is nothing but the Valkala. And the fourth one is cotton. As you all know, we draw cotton yarn from the cotton buds, right? And the fifth one is leather. Of course, we also know from the deer skin, buffalo skin, and elephant skin, they used to prepare some of the something to cover their upper body, like Shiva wears a Gajacharma, right? So, in brief, it deals with the textiles, Vasana. Anga means the applying colors on the body, maybe lipstick, parani, nail paint, all this comes under the Angaraga. Here you can see Dasana Vasana Angaraga, how the silk yarn was drawn, and they're dyeing it. They're applying colors to the yarn collected. Mani Bhumika Karma, the art of making the groundwork of jewels. This means decorating the floor with different jewels like mosaic floor, today's mosaic floor, to keep it cool in all seasons and to embellish the floor too. And this is the design mosaic flooring for those who are new to this one. And when you talk about the foreigners who has visited the Vijayanagara Empire, Abdul Razak has quoted in his book The Forgotten Empire. There he described about the Vijayanagara king's Krishnadevaraya's palace, which is embedded with so many jewels, I tell you. And we lost all of them, of course. So that remained in history. And even this Manibhumika Karma, we are now living with the mosaic flooring. That's okay, fine. So Sayya Rachana is nothing but art of covering the bed, preparing the bed like the present day housekeeping, mosquito nets, spreading the bed sheets, and arranging the aromatic ambience and everything. So fundamentally, it is like keeping the premises clean, carpets and beds ready to use. So this particular art, we call it as Sayya Rachana. So instead of making a Sayya Rachana a daily routine, they made it into a kala. Like they made it so beautiful that one would really feel like sleeping on that. That is, we call it as kala, right? Udakavadya, the art of playing music on water-filled vessels. Arrangement of these vessels in an appropriate order produce the required sound or the pitch, the proper tune, etc. can be taken care of. This is called as Udakavadya. So you can see some Udakavadya is one is the metallic containers and the other one is ceramic containers filled with water. This is a metallic container but not filled with water. The Udakavadya is the ceramic pots where you fill in water. Udakagata is art of splashing with the water. They used to create music out of splashing the water. Just imagine the kind of expertise those people do have, creating a perfect pitch and tune by just splashing on the water. Right? Chitra Yoga, the art of practically applying an admixture of color and the disguise like monkey, tiger and everything, entertaining the public with wonderment. During the Dasara period, most of us must have witnessed the Pulivesham or, they enacting like a peacock sometimes, The swift movements of the hands and legs, high jumps, leaps, the galloping, Katputili, isn't it? So, which finds humanly impossible moments, they just turn them into a beautiful art form. So, this is the body paint, and here you can see people would jump and leap just like tigers and enacting the movements of tigers, like that, Malya Grandhana Vikalpa, the art of designing a preparation of breaths. This reminds me of the Draupadi's position in Virata Parva, where she introduced herself as Malini, who is an expert in making all these floral arrangements. Like these floral arrangements in the olden days, they were classified under 4: Vitata, Grandhima, Pralambita, and Veshtita. So these are nothing but Vitata is a garland where both the ends are tied together. Grandhima is like a floral bouquet. Pralambita are two ends are open-ended. They'll be hanging downwards. And Veshtita, the foot length, Veshtita is a bouquet, sorry. Pralambita are the foot length garlands. So like this Mala, Danda. Today we talk about Ikebana, the art of Ikebana, the floral arrangement, isn't it? So this Grandhima is nothing but Ikebana. The then available flowers were so beautifully arranged, and the art is called as Grandhima. Sekarapida Yojana, the art of practically setting the coronet on the head, binding the turbans in different patterns, and adoring them with jewels, pearls, and flowers and everything, is called as Sekarapida Yojana. Yeah, when we see who's that cricket player? Some Singh is there. So he wears a beautiful turban with a lot of brooch and everything, like. And King Shivaji has got a conical turban on his head, isn't it? So Krishna Devaraya has got a different turban. Annamaya has got a different kind of turban. Bhakta Tukaram image, if you see, he wears a different kinds of uh, turban. So here you can see Shivaji is having a different kind of turban. And this turban, usually we see mostly Pandits will wear a turban like this. So we have different kinds of turbans like this. So tying the turban is called as Sekarapida Yojana, which is also considered as one of the important art form. Karnapatra Bhanga, the art of decorating the tragus of the ear. So these earrings would vary from the patra, pushpa, naga, planet, different kinds of designs. Patra is the leafy design, planetary designs like Sukra, Chandra, Surya, even the nakshatra model, aquatic creatures like Makara, the fish and the crocodile, like Kundalakara, the circular ones, the hanging ones, Karnavalaya, which includes the entire ear. So, with the different kinds of metals and different kinds of designs, and each design has got a meaning for that. If it is a Kurma Kundala, that means the woman is anticipating a progeny, right? So, for that, they used to wear a Kurma Kundala. So even the Naga Kundala is for progeny only. So there is a lot of significance for each and every design that is described in this particular art form. Okay, I'm only telling you the names of the 64 colors on a very, very surface level, basic level, so that when you go deep into the subject, this is what they describe about what is a Patra Kundala, what is the significance of a Patra, what are the different kinds of Patras that they have used, isn't it? So when you hear one of the Ramadasa Kirtana, he says, Sihitam Makucheisti Chintaku Patakamu. So the necklace is in the shape of a tamarind leaf. That has got a significance. All that is described under this art form. So who should wear which shape of a leaf, which shape of a flower? So just like, you have each and every patra, during Vinayak Chavati, we worship the Lord with 21 varieties of patras, isn't it? The patri. Each has gotten a significant or medicinal value for that. Is that applied here? Everything is discussed in this Karna Patra Bhanga, right? So Sugandha Yukti is art of a practical application of the aromatics, preparation of the scents, perfumes from the floral extracts, certain tree barks like chandan and everything, karpura and everything. So this is nothing but aromatics. Karnapatra, yeah, you can see the beautiful design. See, the entire the tragus is covered here. And similarly, look at the design that the Lord is wearing in sculpture. I think this is from Hoysala. Okay. Bhushana Yojana, the art of applying or setting the ornaments that you can see in my previous slide itself, where so Alankara is from top to toe, both and women, what they wear, right from the Siro Bhushana, Karna Bhushana, Kanta Bhushana, Bhuja Bhushana, Hasta Bhushana, Kati Bhushana, Pada Bhushana. So top to toe, we have n number of ornaments to wear, right? Even the Nasika Bharana. So different types of ornaments. These are made with lightweight material, the tree bark paste and heavyweight metals like copper, brass, silver, gold, and 9 types of jewels. Okay, things like that. Aindrajala is juggling. a magic show, Indrajala, the various tricks that creates an illusion to the viewers. Kauchamara Vidya is a kind of art which includes mantra, tantra, yoga, worship, etc., which help the fulfilling a task or helps to attain the wanted goal. Okay. So this is like he would give you something, and people do believe that, that gives you a confidence that you are going to win the task. So this is called as a Kauchamara Yoga. Like in Patala Bhairav movie, they used to have a small idol. That Devi's idol, if he catches hold in his hand, and he thinks that, everything is done, right? So that's a classical example for the Telugu people who knows the old movie Patala Bhairav. Hastalagava is art of sleight of hand, the swift movement and skillful movement of the hands, either in designing, finishing, snatching, or grabbing, plucking, fixing, and everything. Unfortunately, only snatching and grabbing has been confined or attributed to Hastalagava, and it is mostly misunderstood when I say that, Hastalagava is an art form. So people think that only for chain snatching this particular art form has been used. No, this is also a skillful art where you can attribute this kind of art, or ascribe this art to several other things for skillful deeds to be done. Chitra Sakapupa Bhakshya Vikara Kriya. So this is nothing but a culinary skill, right? So preparing the food. And what kind of a food? The art form explains about the 4 types of food. Like in Bhagavad Gita also, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasritam Pranapana Samayuktam Pachamyannam Chaturvitham Bhakshya Bhojya Choshya Lehya. So these are the 4 kinds of food that we eat, right? So to make you understand in a simple way, Bhakshya, Bhojya, Choshya, Lehya are simply that we bite and eat, that we chew and eat, that we lick and eat, and that we slur and eat like payasam and other things. So these are the 4 kinds of food that when we classify them according to the texture of the food and the style of eating, right? And it also talks about the antidote to some of the food ingredients. Like, if you eat the peanuts directly, that may cause a lot of gastric trouble and indigestion, for which the Ayurveda suggests that a pinch of jaggery would help for an easy digestion. So this kind of suggestions were made in this Chitra Saka Pupa Aksha Vikara Kriya Kala, right? So Panakarasa Ragasava Yochana is something like, that prepares platable drinks and tinging draughts with the red color, adding condiments, dry fruits and flavors, and making it a delicious drink is an art. Just like the smoothies. Today we call them as smoothies, right? Starting from challa, that is the buttermilk, ganji, the starch, kallu, the sugarcane juice, fruit juices, milkshakes, madhuparka. Madhuparka is nothing but a mixture of madhu is tena and parka is the curds. Okay, so these were the then existing drinks that we are talking about. Suchi Vaya Karma is nothing but a needlework and the weaving, wherein, Kutch work, we all know about the Kutch work. What is a beautiful needlework that we find in Kutch area of Gujarat. So this is Suchi Vaya Vidya. Okay. Sutra Krida, the art of playing with the thread, the puppet show. They tie the sutras, the threads, and they make the puppets play accordingly. Veena Dhamarka Vadya Vidya, art of playing a lute and a small drum, string instrument and the percussion instruments. Prahelika is the art of making and solving riddles. It includes riddles, number puzzles, yaksha prasnalu, logical, critical, subject-based, literature-based, and Antyakshari. Mukta Padagrasta. Mukta Padagrasta is an interesting thing. In a line, the last word is considered and it is made use like a first word of the next sentence, and one should create the poetry. That's the beauty of Mukta Padagrasta. That is one of the Prahelika. Durvachaka Yoga, the art of practicing language difficult to be answered by others using a different word to give same meaning, concealing the original name or meaning. Okay, so that means encoded sentence. So even in army and other areas, we see that, the language is always coded. So one has to decipher it in order to understand that. That kind of an art form is called as Durvachaka Yoga, wherein in many of the incidents from Mahabharata and Ramayana, you will see this Durvachaka Yoga, right? So when Duryodhana builds a house of made with lac, when the Pandavas were residing there, Vidura sends a messenger saying that he sends a mouse along with him, saying that even though the house is put on fire, nothing will happen to the mouse which is hidden in a hole. This conveys a message to Dharmaraju saying that he has to dig a tunnel and keep themselves ready in case if the house is put on fire, they have to secure themselves. So this is the Durvachaka Yoga, encoding the language and saying this is the Sutra Krida from the previous thing. Pustaka Vachana, the art of reciting the books. So is it also an art form? Am I not reading the book like that? No. It has to include the recitation, intonation, in tune, in meter, the proper pronunciation, proper punctuation, stressing upon the syllable, okay, making use of the Anudatta, Udatta, and the Swarita Swaras. Swarita being the medium tone, Udatta being the upper tone, Anudatta being the lower tone to the Swarita. You have to maintain that modulation. The intonation, the dhvani has to be uttered properly in order to convey the proper meaning that the poet has intended to convey it to the readers. Right? So one simple example, Rara. Rara. I'm just requesting. Rara, please come. Rara. The intonation changes. Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? That intonation. That's the reason the Pustaka Vachana itself is a kala. Of course, it includes Padya, Gadya, Champu Kavya. Some Champu is nothing but it's a mixture of Padya and Gadya, right? Natakakhyayika Darshana, the art of enacting short plays and anecdotes like Krishna Leelalu, Buddha Charitra, Natyaitamu, Lavakusam. So all these anecdotes are taking a small episode from any of these epics and enacting. The Lava and Kusa were enacting on the Ayodhya streets. And that's how Rama has invited them and they saw Rama and everything. It's there. So the singing the glory of and praising the glory of the Lord or taking an anecdote from or episode from any of the epics and presenting is called one of the art. Kavya Samasya Purana, art of solving enigmatic verses. And this is also called as Avadhana Prakriya in Telugu. The first two lines are by one poet and another has to fill it with appropriate wording without distorting the meaning. So in Tenali Ramakrishna, to give you an example, a beautiful example is called Kunjarayudhambu Domakuttuka Chochen. So the meaning of the sentence is the entire group of elephants has entered into the throat of a mosquito. How is this possible? How is a group of elephants can really enter into the throat of an mosquito? But Tenali Ramakrishna, who is well versed with the language and the epics, he beautifully said that Ranjana Chedi Pandavul Aribanjanurai Akata Vidhi Nemandumu Sanjaya Kunjarayudhammu Domakuttuka Chochen. In the Virata Parva episode, the Pandavas who has got a lot of valor, vigor, and who are the warriors, they just went into Virata king, who is nothing in front of them, but they took shelter in his court for 1 year. Isn't it something like a group of elephants is going into a mosquito's throat and, rescuing themselves in their exile, during their exile? So this kind of art is called as Kavya Samasya Purana. Pattika Vetra Bana Vikalpa, art of designing and preparation of the shields, boxes, arrows. Mundane life utility carries like baskets, bowls, cane, and other plant-based fiber, right? So, Takku Karma, the art of spinning by the spindle, chiseling, polishing, and preparing beautiful ornaments, sculptures with the metals is called as Takku Karma. So this is the Takku Karma. Pattika Vetrabana, sir. So Takshana, the art of carpentry, preparation of chariots, doors, furniture, sculpts, Salabanjika, we call the wooden sculptures as Salabanjikas, carvings, wooden cutlery. During in the Yajna and Yaga, we make use of two of the wooden spatulas. They are called as Shruk and Shruva, right? So Shruk is the one we offer it to the god, and Shruva is the one he takes from that, right? So Vastu Vidya and architectural engineering, what you know, I think Vastu, I don't need to give much of explanation. Everybody is an expert nowadays, like, the house or a temple or court or anything, the directions, everything that talks about the architecture. Raupya Ratna Pariksha, the art of testing the silver and the different kinds of jewels. As we all know, we have 9 types of jewels. Starting from the rubies, pearls, corals, the yellow sapphire, blue sapphire, emeralds, we have, and diamonds. So these are all the 9 jewels that we have. The quality, the carat, the cut, and from which mines they have collected from. And today we know Sri Lanka is famous for their blue sapphires, right? Africa is known for its diamonds. Like that, from which mines they can collect the correct carbon, and develop these jewels and all. That itself is an art by itself. Dhatu Vidya, art of metallurgy, and also identifying the places of availability of these metals. Like Singarani always we have. Maniraga Jnana, art of tingling jewels, the identifying the available areas, as I told you. Akara Jnana, art of mineralogy. Vriksha Ayurveda Yoga, as you all know, we have Ayurveda as one of the medicine, the only medicine that we had in olden days. Now we are calling it as an alternative medicine, but Ayurveda was the only medicine that we have in earlier days, right? Mesha Kukkuta Lavaka Yuddha Vidhi. Mesha is nothing but goat. Kukkuta is cock. Lavaka is another word, another bird. Yuddha Vidhi is people do train all these three, like the goats, the cocks, and the lavaka bird to fight. And in the olden days, if you know the story of Palnat Yuddham, soldiers never fought with each other. It is the 2 cocks from each of the country. They fought with each other, and they have come to an understanding that whichever cock wins, the country won. And the Palnati Brahmanaidu and the Nagama, they both had this Kukkuta fight. So this is the Mesha Yuddha, Kukkuta Yuddha, Lavaka Yuddha, right? Did I miss something? Something is wrong with my cursor. Sorry, we'll go back. Give me a minute. Okay. Sukha Sarika Pralapana. That means the art of training the birds like Sukha and Sarika, the parrots and the Gorvanka, we call it as Sarika, to teach them how to speak. They train them in speaking them. Utsadana, the art of healing or cleaning a person with perfumes. Keshamarjana Kausala, the art of massaging and combing the hair. Akshara Mushtika Kathana, the art of talking with fingers. As you all know, I think earlier on Sundays at 1 o'clock, we used to have a special news show for those who are, impaired with hearing skills and all. They used to do all this, they used to speak with fingers. So that itself is an art. Like Dharana Matrika, art of use of amulets. Ekasandagrahi, Dvisandagrahi, like that. Like, the first person who is very good at memorizing the things on hearing once. So he would be kept near when a poet is saying something, he would listen to it once and he will memorize the entire thing. Later on, he would repeat the same thing and the others would follow and make a stencil of it. That's how they used to produce all these kavyas, right? Desa Bhasha Jnana, art of knowing the provincial dialects. Nirmita Jnana or Nimitta Jnana, art of knowing prediction by heavenly voice, good or bad omens. We call it as a Sekuna Sastra. So if we go out, if you come across a black cat, immediately we come inside the house, we wash our feet, wait for some time, we look for a good omen and then we move out. So this nimitta jnana or nirmiti jnana itself is an art. Yantra matrika, the art of mechanics. The art of mechanics, you can see in Mahabharata, when the Arjuna was trying to hit the Matsya yantra, that yantra and the Matsya was revolving. So Arjuna has to hit the moving fish. So how do you think that without any mechanical thing, without any electricity, that thing is moving? That is called as the yantra jnana. Okay? Yantra matrika jnana. Mlechita kukkuta vikalpita. The art of fabricating barbers and foreign sophistry. So I think by the time Vatsayana was writing all this list of kalas, probably Alexander and other people must have entered India. And, they were talking about the Mecha Bhasha. So in order to decipher the Mecha Bhasha, that particular art Vatsayana must have introduced. Samvachya, the art of conversation. So in the conversation, we have different styles of dialogue, which is called as Vada, Samvada, Jalpa, Vitanda. These are the several kinds of conversation. Vada is a kind of argument where the party wants to win over the other person. He'll make an argument there. Jalpa is the person tries to condemn whatever the other person is saying. That is another kind of argument. His job is to condemn whatever the other person says. Vitandavada is to establish whatever this person is saying, only the truth. Whereas the final one, Samvada, is a much matured one where both the parties would come to a reconciliation and they try to establish the truth through the Samvachya. And this is called as art of conversation. Right? During whenever we send the ambassadors, foreign ambassadors, so we would look for a person who is good at conversation. One has to establish a good rapport with the other country. A harmonious relation should be established through the Samvachya. Manasi Kavya Kriya, the art of composing verse mentally. Kriya Vikalpa, the art of designing a literary work with an understanding of aesthetics, grammar, syntax, and everything. Chalitaka Yoga, the art of disguise. One would disguise themselves and, go into the streets. And usually Gudacharis used to make use of this Chalitaka Yoga, wherein they go in disguise into the public and try to get the information from the public, what exactly they are thinking about the kingdom, the ruling, the administration, and everything. And if at all there is something, they would carry it to the king. And this is how we get to know about one of the washermen who talks negative about Rama keeping Sita in the court, even though she has spent 1 year in Ravana's garden. So this is the Chalitaka Yoga, wherein people go in disguise and gather information. Abhidharana Kosa Chando Jnana, the art of use of lexicography and the meters. This is also comes under the part of literature. Vastra Gopana, the art of concealment of clothes. So this is something like to do with the woman. They're wearing inner garments and the exterior and the interior clothing and everything. That's the beauty of Vastra Gopana. And Dyuta Vishesha, art of knowing specific gambling is called as Dyuta Vishesha. Akshara Krida, the art of playing with the dice or the magnet. Sorry, Akarsha Krida. Balaka Kridanaka, the art of creating games for children which help them for an overall development. The stories and gadgets. When I was young, I used to play so many games wherein that allowed us to think a lot. Unfortunately, this generation got stuck to the so-called electronic gadgets, wherein the creativity is becoming less and less. If you go out, if you interact with the people, you get to know different kinds of psychologists, different kinds of people, their mentality, how they react to the situation, how you can accommodate others into your game, how can you adjust with the other people. There is a lot to know, right? So this Balaka Kridana is an art of creating games wherein the overall physical and mental development of the children is given a thought and created. Vainayaki Vidya is the art of enforcing discipline, not only for the people, but for also for the elephants, horses, camels, and everything. They discipline these animals so that they listen to this controller in wars and other fields. Vaijayaki Vidya is the art of gaining victory. Tricks and steps for success. In chess and other games, the different moves can easily make you win in the game. Similarly, the Sudoku. Only thing is you have to decode. Even the cube, what you make moves, it has got a different pattern. All the thing that you have to do is decipher and, decode it through which trick you can win that particular game. So this is called as Vaijayaki Vidya. And this they will teach you. And a classic example for Vaijayaki Vidya is not teaching Abhimanyu to get out of the Padma Vyuha. He was only taught half of it. That's the reason he couldn't come out of the Vaijayaki Vidya, because he was not well versed with this Vaijayaki Vidya. And he lost his life in Mahabharata, Kurukshetra Yuddha. Hope you all know this, okay? So Vaitaliki Vidya is art of awakening the master. And these are called as Vaitalikas, the people who say hail to the king or hail to the noble people and all these things. These are called as, this is called as Vaitaliki Vidya, wherein they say hail, Bahupara. Even in temples, they say hail to the Lord. They say hail to the king. Uma Maheswara Purnanatha Jivana Gajanana Bahuparak, Bahuparak. The Bahuparak itself is a Vaitaliki Vidya. Mahishasuradhanavendra Bahuparak. Bahuparak is nothing but Vaitaliki Vidya. Right? So they keep on praising the people. Even in Maya Bazaar, we have a comedy scene with Alu Ramling and other people where they try to boast Uttara Kumara, even though he's not fit for boasting. So people were employed to boast them in public. So this is called as Vaitaliki Vidya. Of course, those who are well versed with the Vaitaliki Vidya, they go to all these noble people, rich people, they say hail to them. And naturally, as you all know, men can be, trapped with flattering. So they give some gifts to the people. And that's how this is also called as Vaitaliki Vidya. Right. So I think successfully I have completed all the 64 colors. So these are the 64 colors that were in existence in the ancient India. Yeah. This is about 64 colors, and today we have minimized them to Lalita colors, wherein music, dance, drawing, sculpture, and literature has been confined to Lalita colors, right? So most of them were not included. I mean, not in vogue. Also, some of them, and apart from this, as I was telling you that 10 of the colors were not included by Vatsayana, and some of them are the Pakashastra, the culinary art, and Gajasastra, Astra Sastra, like taming the elephants, taming the horses. And you will find in Singapore Universal Studios, the people tame dolphins, and they make dances with the dolphins and other animals. That itself is an art. So there are so many arts according to the time, even the art forms have been changing. The life according to the lifestyle, these things have been changed. Yeah, this is all about the 64 colors. And thank you so much for being patient with me. And I profoundly thank the Vishwa Talks for giving me a third opportunity to share whatever information that I have gathered and, the knowledge that I have, a little knowledge. And thank you so much, Vishwa, for giving me this platform, that too on your prestigious 200th talk. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an amazing session. It was very insightful, and we are loaded with testimonials in the chat box. It's filled up with a whole lot of thanks and
Wow, wow.
compliments for your session.
I would like to have them on my phone. So once we are done, that they are not available also.
Yes, I'll send you the chat also, not a problem. Before we move on to the Q&A, I'd like to take 2 minutes to actually 30 seconds for your time for a quick poll. This will help us get to know you better and tailor future topics that we bring to you. I request all the participants to interact with the poll questions.
I like the second question.
Yes. I request all of the participants to interact with the poll questions and choose their options. Okay. While you are interacting with the poll questions, I'll also officially close the session before we move on to the Q&A, and I'll give a brief about the future talks that are coming up, and right after that we can jump on to the Q&A. We have Dr. Shishira Rahul. He's a landscape architect, ecological planner, ex-head of Department of Architecture, MS University, Baroda. He's going to be talking on ecologies, introduction and its applications on 19th of July at 11 a.m. We also have PG Butt, professor at RVU. He's going to be talking about bridging the gap, teaching Gen Z with heart, humor, and hands-on approaches. That talk is on 26th of July from 11 a.m. to 12. I request all of the participants to go to vishwa.org in case you don't register here in the chat box. And you can register anytime you'd like. You can also stay updated from our Instagram page. For anybody who's missed any part of this session, I'm pasting the link in the chat box. You can save the link and share it with anybody you'd like. Moving on to the Q&A. I'd like to first unmute Mr. Shmuel.
You hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Very interesting and amazing presentation. I very, very enjoyed to hear this presentation. And I understand that Kalas, this origin of all Indian arts, this origin of all elements of Indian culture. And I want to ask a question. What impacts of colors on contemporary culture of India? What impact of colors of contemporary art of India?
It's better you type it, sir. I hardly could follow you.
Could you repeat one more time, sir? I'll rephrase it for now.
Yeah, I asked what the impact of colors on contemporary, on modern culture of India.
How colors impart, how do they influence the modern and contemporary Indian art forms, India? Like, I mean, how does it affect us culturally, basically?
This
That,
good.
that is what I've been saying, sir. I am only enlisting the colors. But when you go deep into the colors, how they have narrated the entire tenets, even today we could not add any new element to that one. That's the beauty of how comprehensive all these art forms are. The principles laid down by so-called Shastrakaras are even today they are like testimony. When you talk about the architecture, we know about the storage system, the water storage system, the kitchen and the bifurcation of bedrooms and the other halls and everything. What else are you able to add now? Nothing. Even they had swimming pools. The same kind of architecture. Similarly, the dance movements, they have explained everything about right from the head movement to the toe movement. We couldn't add any other new movement to that. Only thing is we are only juggling with those movements and trying to create another art form, naming it with a different thing, but the same hand movement, the same gesture, the same movement, the same jumps and leaps. So the colors are, they are the foundation on which today we build stories on that. Hope I answered.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I have more one short question. I want to ask you how education system of India encouraging learning colors, learning heritage of colors.
Very true. So in the chat box, somebody was saying that, more hastas has been added to the existing one. Yeah, I'm talking about the 20th century. Today, we couldn't even add any more. So the new Nritta hastas, what you're talking, right from Bharata's Natya Shastra, prior to Bharata's Natya Shastra, there were several other hastas in Buddhism, which were not included in Natya Shastra because already they are there, just like Shantarasa. So again, understanding the concept from a surface level and understanding the implied meaning and how do you really integrate it with the shastric element. How do you interpret it? So the interpretation is left to the choreographer.
Ma'am, sir is also asking how the Indian government or the systems are basically encouraging teaching of colors in our education systems.
So Vishwa has to raise a request to the government so that at least some of them are introduced into the government schools or in a private schools, so that we are moving away from our culture and heritage. And later, I know very soon we are going to repent for this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shmuel, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the answer. This actually helps us preserve, sessions like these helps us preserve our culture and literature and the data we have from our ancestors, and very kind of you to share all that data with us.
Thanks.
Also, I'm going to move on to the next question from the chat box. I'm just loaded with so many testimonials. I'm having a tough time going through the questions. I'm just gonna. Okay, could you, by any chance, tell us about the 17th art? Because I think we missed it in the slideshow.
17th is, oh, okay. Nepadhya Yoga Vidya. Nepadhya is the makeup, face makeup. Nepadhya Yoga.
Also, a lot of people are asking if there's a course that can be enrolled on to learn about colors.
I'm not teaching us here. Yeah, I would be glad if any university invites me to teach, or someone is interested, we can have one more session. We'll think of it. Okay, let the people answer you in private that a set of people, if they can leave a message to you, we'll think about it and do it in future.
Sure. Just a moment. I'm just trying to look at the questions in the chat box. Okay, there's a question from Ms. Rachna Atri. My question is regarding Vidya and Kala. Are there specifics to these and the institutional, is there an institutional mechanism for these?
For Vidyas and Kalas, actually, Vidya is different from Kala technically. So we call all the Kalas are Vidyas only. So they are educative, as I was talking about the definition of Kala, right? But according to the Vedic system of knowledge, Indian knowledge system, yeah, we have 14 different kinds of Vidyas. They are called as Mahavidyas. So these fall under the category of Kalas. So those 14 Mahavidyas, what we call it as Nyaya, Siksha, Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. So all those things that you can learn from any Vedic schools like Chinmaya Mission or Ramakrishna Mission, any mission, like, the spiritual institutions, there you can learn the Mahavidyas, 14 Mahavidyas. Kalas, it is not possible for an individual to master all the 64 arts. One life is not enough. At least to learn one art completely, one life is also not enough, right? So, but to have a taste of everything, I wish there is a plenty of information available on internet. Those who are interested must start reading. Then, if you have any queries, probably if you can enlist them and go to any of the fine art school, probably teachers would guide you or help you with a lot more information, and they will clear all your doubts. But as such, music, dance, drawing, sculpture, and literature, they are the 5 art forms that are being taught in many of the institutions.
Thank you. And a question from Ms. Shilpa. Such an interesting session. Thank you, madam. Can you suggest some reading material for beginners?
164 colors. As there are plenty of articles are available on 64 colors on Google. Start with that, then we'll see.
A question from Mr. Prasad Sarpanini. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us again. Sumitra Garu, your wonderful presentation, so rich in content, is yet another reminder of how great our Bharatiya Sanskriti and Sampradayam is. Is there any place where 64 kalas have been represented symbolically, if not elaborately, to educate? Let's say a UNESCO heritage place like Ajanta or Ellora.
So individually, see, each heritage place is signified with each art, I must say. See, Ajanta is famous for drawings, Ellora is famous for sculptures, right? So like that. So not everywhere or most of the colors are represented. Maybe when it is freezed into the rocks, like, the musical instruments, we can find music there. And similarly, dance poses like that, but not 64 at one place, unlike, unfortunately. Or even if they were there, probably we must have lost all that heritage. As such, there are no depiction of all these 64 colors in any of these heritage monuments, as far as I know.
I'm just gonna
CS Chinmaya mission, you can type for that. It's in Coimbatore. And yeah, most of you all, those who are interested in learning more, I don't know whether, can I say that or not? Chinmaya missions lectures are also available on YouTube. You can go through that.
I'm gonna unmute Miss Rachana. Hello,
Hello.
ma'am.
Hi. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Trishant, for such a wonderful session. Ma'am, I wanted to know in today's time, if one was, my question also was regarding institutions. Institutionally, when we look at 64 kalas and 14 vidyas, and we are talking of a new educational policy where we are thinking of integrating, where are we, and from where we have to begin, and where we have to go? Somebody who knows so much, I'm sure you would have some inking vis-a-vis someone like me or someone like Trishant who is beginning the journey. Please.
My father was a professor of philosophy at Andhra University, Visakhapatnam, state of Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So he used to tell me that, when the education and the medicine are commercialized, they lost their glory. I repeat, the education and the medicine, when they were commercialized, because in olden days in Gurukulas, they never charged anything. All that the students have to do is they used to do the sushrusha to the Guru, collecting the firewood and, helping the Guru Patni in doing everything. So they used to share all the knowledge. It is said that Balarama and Krishna has learned 64 kalas in 64 days. And Rama is well versed with all the 64 kalas. Buddha was well versed with the 72 kalas. Because the Guru was ready to share the information. Unfortunately, when you have commercialized it, so for everything, the institution is charging. One is really interested in doing PhD and it is costing 8 to 9 lakhs for an individual, from where everybody can really bear that amount. Tell me, ma'am.
Ma'am, if I may say so, even today when we are beginning to relook at it, and I'm sure Trishant would agree with me, it's when we work on goodwills, it matters when we work as professionals or as commercial, these things still don't work. And I think it is both in today's time, the beauty of our arts and probably the human will also. Even today, am I not right, Trishant? If
Yeah. See, I think the cultural bodies like either Vishwa or, the philanthropic bodies like Lions Club or Rotary Club should come forward and talk to the major institutions like engineering colleges or, some major colleges where the transition in the personality is happening. Youth are being diverted to all bad practices. You know what I mean?
yes, I know.
So during the summer, they should make it a mandate that they would introduce all these things for at least 1 week. Let the institution bear the expenses. Let the children participate. And people like us who are willing and, dreaming for a better tomorrow, We are ready to share our knowledge for without charging anything. There are people who would share their knowledge, but we want somebody to lead us. I can't go on keep on asking. I'll tell you a simple reason. I have a engineering
Trishant,
college just close by. I went and approached them saying that I would like to deliver a lecture on personality development to the girls of engineering college, taking dance as a medium, how dance can really create a personality development, develop a personality among the dancers. They asked me to send my resume, which is 4 pages. I have sent them. Till now, they haven't come back. I've given them 7 years back. They couldn't give me 1 hour of time. Now you tell me, had it been some interview sessions or something like that, which is commercially viable for them to charge the students and make some money out of it, the universities or so-called colleges are ready.
I know. Trishant, here's the mandate for you.
Yeah, you talk to people
I
like this.
hope
We
we
are come and share our knowledge. Definitely, I'm with you. Trishant, you remember?
I hope we can try to bring in more exposure
Yes.
to.
Yeah, Trishant, if you remember my first session, I was introducing dance, the different types of dance, and Vani was telling that, that I should go the entire countrywide and spread that news. We are ready, but again, for you also, when money involves, nothing happens. Because if we have to make the travel expenses also from who's going to
True,
bear off
true.
that? That's
No,
the
no.
reason commercialize it. Nothing happens.
It's one of those things. If you commercialize it, you lose the essence of it. And if you even but to move and to deliver where it is needed, you still need money. So probably the mandate is to look for money which is not commercial. You know? Thank you so much for and thanks Trishan for giving me time.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'm
Thank you for
sure,
joining us.
ma'am, that the way the session was and what I heard from you, I'm sure, you'd be able to do what you're willing to and thinking of doing to the good way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. I do hope that we can pave the way to spread the knowledge and work out a certain system where things don't really get commercialized and directly, but also the knowledge is going in to the right places. Moving on to the next question, I'd like to. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna unmute Miss Ravina, ma'am.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hello. It
Hello.
was a very insightful and very path-breaking webinar, I must say. And my thesis is also upon the education sector. So I would like to propose, how should I approach you? Because what ma'am said and what we are all aligned. Like we want our India to be Sone ki chidiya, and of course the Gurukul system. So I would like to propose something that how can I approach you? Can I get your email ID so that we can work on this? And I have connections with certain institutes, educational institutes. So as a collaboration, we all three, you and ma'am, can do something so that, collectively we can, our contribution to our mother India. So just wanted to know how should I approach you in the future?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Trishant, you can share my email ID.
Sure, ma'am. I'll do that.
yeah. Thank
Also,
you so much.
I'll text you my phone number so that I can directly. I'm sending it to you in my direct messages.
Okay, okay. Yes, please.
Just drop me a text and I'll share the email with you.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Moving on to the next question, ma'am, from Georging. Madam, kindly talk on Ungla Vigyan on body anatomy mentioned in Chitra Sutra. requesting to talk on Ungla Vigyan on body anatomy mentioned in Chitra Sutra.
Body anatomy in Chitra Sutra, yeah, probably she was talking about I think in our first session I mentioned about the body anatomy. And of course, body anatomy, I don't know from which perspective she has been asking, but the body anatomy and the embryology, basically, that is also included in the Chitra Sutra of Vishnu Dharmottara Purana, wherein you talk about the Bhanga, Abhanga, Sabamanga, the different the architecture and the iconography that suggests. If that is the one, I think I need to take another session completely. That requires 1.5 hours time. Yeah.
We'll do that too. Okay, moving on to the next question from Ms. Panumati. Can you differentiate the second Kala Vadya Vidya and the 28th Kala Veena
Yeah. So,
Damrapuka Vidya?
Adya Vidya is a collective Vidya, wherein he was talking about the 4 types of Vidya, like as I told you, Tatam, Avanatham, Ghanam, and Sushiram. But the 28th one, Veena and Mridanga Vadya, he has mentioned it separately. But Vadya Vidya, the second one is a collective one. But here he separately mentioned a string and the percussion instruments. I don't know why he did it, but it's there in the list. Yeah, good observation. I'm happy that people are attentive when I was telling this. This gives me happiness.
There's a question from Mr. Yogendra Thakur. Nice presentation. Thank you so much. Could you please share a shloka in Vatsayana's Granth listing 64 arts? I suppose it is there. It would be more easy to memorize all kalas by a shloka in poetic form.
I have to look into the book and then share it, sir.
Sure, ma'am.
It's available. PDF is available on archives.org. Let him search in that. Archives.org, Vatsayana Kama Sutras. If you can go through that, you can find it.
Sure. I'll just... Okay, there's a question from Mr. Abhishek. All the kalas are about the unity of the universal one light Atman. How is it possible that many paths towards that unity starts conflicting with other? Why is there not a samvada to I'm not able to reconcile instead of conflicts? Also, how are the kalas commercialization is evil, because every aspect is part of the one universal being. So how can commercialization make it lesser art or bad?
Yeah. See, we have a fourfold path. We, in the sense, we Indian believe in Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, right? So we got stuck in the materialistic world, Dharma, Artha, and Kama. We haven't paid attention on Moksha, wherein these arts are meant for liberation of the soul. If you consider liberation as your motto, then these three will not bother you. But unfortunately, we are being stuck at a materialistic world, right? Then we have to suffer. It is the individual that is creating the problem. It is not the kala. So the individual has to change. So the change has to come from here, right? Yeah, let us start from today onwards. Let's be nice and, let's work for the common goal. Right?
Thank you so much for the reply, ma'am. There's a follow-up question from Mr. Abhishek. Can you please tell me specifically the art name for textiles, and if there is yantra machine vidya, then textile produced by machines can also be an art, right? However, the art seems to respect only sustainable, eco-friendly textile arts.
So there are many texts, ancient texts are there. So one is for textiles, Dasana Vasana, this itself is an art form. In one of the book called Gupta Vaidya Prakashika, if I'm right, they have even mentioned how to create a Vimana. So we all know that, Rama flew in a Vimana from Lanka to Ayodhya, right? So that mechanism is also under Yantra part, they have described. So yeah, we are yet to decipher those things and, create our own Vimana. Unfortunately, we lost so much of information during the invasions. Despite, we could retain some of the information as due to the one of the beautiful system of education that we have today, which is the oral tradition. Because we recite and, it passed through the generations, nobody could destroy the knowledge. Had it been preserved in any text or, written on something like that, it would have gone.
Gone.
The beautiful system that we have in the olden days is the oral recitation. Even today, people can recite the slokas. Just because the person was asking about the sloka from Vatsa and Kama Sutra. If you recite it, that's it. You are done with the sutra. You can elaborate it at your convenience. So it's not that easy to recite and retain the knowledge nowadays. So grahana, dharana, jnana, prayoga. These are the 4 stages. Grahana is reception. Dharana is retention. Jnana is having knowledge about it. Prayoga is experiment with it. Where is the time for us for grahana itself, for absorption itself? We have no time. Forget about retention. When I was young, Trishant, I used to remember some nearly 60 to 70 phone numbers when we were using the landline. Now that mobile is there, everything is safe. I hardly remember except 2, 3, my children number and my husband number. That's it. Rest everything I have to go through the contacts. The more and more we are depending on the gadgets, we are losing the retention power.
True.
The
Losing the
education.
attention span.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I don't know, there's a theory that Hitler, when he was leading Germany, he used to keep a lot of interest in the Puranic scriptures, and he would learn about Viman Yantra and actually did a lot of underground research behind that to develop a lot of systems, machineries. Even the traffic system that we have was created by him, was inspired from a lot of our ancient scriptures, which is, so we are yet to tap into the full potential of our own history, which is something we look forward to. I think we've covered all of the questions in the chat box, and we can officially close the session. I'd like to thank you again from the bottom of my heart, from whole of Vishwa's team. We are truly honored to have you for the 3rd time, and we hope that we get to do this more often, like in the future too. And I, I'd like to thank all of the participants who are still with us. I see good 43 people in the session right now, which is really nice post 1.5 hours of the session. So thank you again to all the participants. If you missed any part of the session, I've already given the YouTube link in the chat box. You can also reach out to me on trishant@vishwa.org in case you have any queries, and we will talk to ma'am, get replies from her, and send it over to you in the mail itself. But
Since that, it takes minimum 1 week for me to reply. Kindly bear with me.
no worries,
Because I'm
ma'am.
going on tour on 16th. They'll be back on 24th, and only after that, probably I can reply you all. Just heads up, that's it. I will definitely reply you all.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll turn, if there are a few questions, I'll just turn them into a list, send it to you, and you can revert to me your time, and I'll forward it to the participants again.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so
Also,
much for having.
ma'am, we'll project a breakout room link on your screen shortly, within 1 minute. You can just join the link and I'll be there too. Thank you again
Thank
for, thank you again. Thank you to everybody for joining us today. I will see you next week again at 11 a.m. Saturday on the 19th. Thank you for joining us. Rakesh, could you please project the breakout room link to me? Also, a lot of, could you